Hello everyone, this is Asra Sultana, Assistant Professor in Triple Department, working in ISL Engineering College. I am taking the subject Power Systems 2 for Triple third year students. In the second unit, we have studied about the symmetrical fault calculations. So today I am going to start third unit, unsymmetrical fault calculations. Most of the faults on the power system lead to a short circuit condition. When such a condition occurs, heavy current called as short circuit current will flow through the equipment, causing considerable damage to the equipment and interruption of service to the consumers. There is probably no other subject of greater importance to an electrical engineer than the question of determination of short circuit currents under fault conditions. The choice of apparatus and the design and arrangement of practically every equipment in the power system will depend upon short circuit current considerations. So in the previous unit we have studied about symmetrical faults on three-phase system. The fault on the power system which give rise to symmetrical fault currents, that is equal fault currents in the lines with 120 degrees displacement, is called as symmetrical fault. The symmetrical fault occurs when all the three conductors of a three-phase lines are brought together simultaneously into a short circuit conditions. This type of fault gives rise to symmetrical currents, that is equal fault currents with 120 degrees displacement. Fault currents IR, IY and IB will be equal in magnitude with 120 degrees displacement among them. So because of balanced nature of fault, only one phase need to be considered in calculations since condition in the other two phases will also be similar. So there are two important points which has to be noted. First one will be symmetrical fault rarely occurs in practice as majority of faults are of unsymmetrical nature. However, symmetrical fault calculations are being discussed to enable the reader to understand the problems that short circuit conditions present to the power system. Second one, symmetrical fault is the most severe and imposes more heavy duty on the circuit breaker. Limitation of fault current. When a short circuit occurs at any point in a system, short circuit current will be limited by the impedance of the system up to point of fault. If a fault occurs on the feeder at any point F, then the short circuit current from the generating station will have a value limited by the impedance of generator and transformer and the impedance of the line between the generator and the point of fault. This shows that the knowledge of the impedances of various equipment and circuits in the line of the system is very important for determination of short circuit currents. In many situations, impedances limiting the fault current are largely reactive, such as transformers, reactors, and generators. Cables and lines are mostly resistive, but where the total reactance in calculations exceeds 3 times the resistance, latter is usually neglected. The error which is introduced by this assumption will not exceed 5%. We have seen about percentage reactance. The reactance of generators, transformers, reactors, etc. is usually expressed in percentage reactance to permit rapid short circuit calculations. The percentage reactance of a circuit is defined as it is the percentage of the total phase voltage dropped in the circuit when full load current is flowing. That is percentage X is equal to Ix by V into 100. I is the full load current, V is the phase voltage and X is the reactance in ohms per phase. And we have seen very important topic called as percentage reactance and base kVA. Percentage reactance of an equipment depends upon its kVA rating. Generally, various equipments used in the power system have different kVA ratings. Therefore, it is necessary to find the percentage reactances of all the elements on a common kVA rating. This common kVA rating is known as base kVA. The value of this base kVA is quite unimportant and it can be equal to that of the largest plant or equal to the total plant capacity or any arbitrary value. So conversion can be effected by using the following relation. Percentage reactance at base kVA is equal to base kVA by rated kVA into percentage reactance at rated kVA. So 1000 kVA transformer with 5% reactance will have a reactance of 10% at 2000 kVA base. So with the help of a numerical also we have seen it. So if you choose any base kVA, for example, if in a problem we have seen that once we have seen for 2500 kVA as common base, and once we have seen for 5000 kVA. So in both the cases short circuit current will be same. Let us see short circuit kVA. Product of normal system voltage and short circuit current at the point of fault expressed in kVA is known as short circuit kVA. If V is the normal phase voltage in volts, I is the full load current in amperes at base kVA, percentage X is the percentage reactance of the system on base kVA up to the fault point, then short circuit current ISC is equal to I into 100 by percentage X. Then we have seen reactor control of short circuit currents. So what will be the advantages of this? Reactors will limit the flow of short circuit current and thus will protect the equipment from overheating as well as from failure due to destructive mechanical forces. Troubles are localized or isolated at the point where they originate without communicating their disturbing effects to other parts of the power system. This increases the chances of continuity of supply. Third one is they will permit the installation of circuit breakers of lower rating. Location of reactors. Short circuit current limiting reactors may be connected in series with each generator or in series with each feeder or in bus bars. No definite statement can be given as to which one of the above locations is preferable. Each installation has its own particular demands which must be carefully considered before a choice of reactor location is made. So there will be generator reactors, feeder reactors and busbar reactors. So busbar reactors, again they are of two types, ring bar system and tie bar system. Then we have seen various steps for symmetrical fault calculations. So first we have to draw a single line diagram of the complete network indicating the rating, voltage and percentage reactance of each element of the network. Choose a numerically convenient value of base kVA and convert all percentage reactances to this base value. Corresponding to the single line diagram of the network, draw the reactance diagram showing one phase of the system and the neutral. Indicate the percentage reactances on the base kVA in the reactance diagram. Transformer in the system should be represented by a reactance in series. Find the total percentage reactance of the network up to the point of fault. Let it be X percentage. Find the full load current corresponding to the selected base kVA and the normal system voltage at the fault point. Let it be I. Then various short circuit calculations will be ISC, that is short circuit current is equal to I into 100 by percentage X. Short circuit kVA is equal to base kVA into 100 by percentage X. Then we have done few numericals based on this topic. Okay, let us start unit 3 of power system to subject, that is unsymmetrical faults. So symmetrical faults, they are very rarely occurring. Okay, so that we have already seen in the previous classes. So this unsymmetrical fault will be occurring very frequently in the power systems. So in this unit, we are going to see symmetrical components of unsymmetrical phasors, power in terms of symmetrical components, sequence impedance and sequence networks of unloaded generators, sequence impedances of circuit elements, single line to line and double line to ground faults on unloaded generator, unsymmetrical faults of power systems, open circuit faults. In the previous unit, our attention was confined to the analysis of symmetrical faults. The example, all three lines are short circuited or all three lines are short circuited with an earth connection at the fault. So what we have seen, either in some symmetrical faults, what we have seen, all three lines were short circuited or all three lines were short circuited with an earth connection at the fault. So when such a fault occurs, it gives rise to symmetrical fault currents. That is, fault currents in the three lines are equal in magnitude and displaced from each other by an angle of 120 degrees. Although symmetrical faults are the most severe and impose heavy duty on the circuit breakers, yet the analysis of such faults can be made with a fair degree of ease. It is because the balanced nature of the fault will permit to consider only one phase in calculations. The conditions in the other two phases being similar. The great majority of faults on the power system are of unsymmetrical nature. The most common type being a short circuit from one line to ground. When such a fault occurs, it gives rise to unsymmetrical currents, that is, the magnitude of all currents in the three lines are different, having unequal phase displacement. The calculation procedure known as method of symmetrical components is used to determine the currents and voltages on the occurrence of an unsymmetrical fault. So in this chapter, we will focus our attention on the analysis of unsymmetrical faults. Those faults on the power system which give rise to unsymmetrical fault currents, that is, unequal fault currents in the lines with unequal phase displacement, are called as unsymmetrical faults. So students, what are unsymmetrical faults? The faults on the power system which give rise to unsymmetrical fault currents are called as unsymmetrical faults. Let us see now unsymmetrical faults on a three-phase system in detail. On the occurrence of an unsymmetrical fault, the currents in the three lines become unequal and so is the phase displacement among them. It may be noted that the term unsymmetry applies only to the fault itself and the resulting line currents. However, the system impedances and the source voltages are always symmetrical through its main elements. So what is the meaning of symmetrical here? No piece of equipment ever has a red phase impedance which differs from a yellow phase impedance. So the system impedances and the source voltages are always symmetrical through its main elements, that is, namely generators, transmission lines, synchronous reactors, etc. There are three ways in which unsymmetrical faults may occur in a power system. Single line to ground fault, that is LG. Line to line fault, that is LL. Double line to ground fault, that is LLG. Okay. So students, there are three ways in which unsymmetrical faults will occur in a power system. That is single line to ground fault, line to line fault, double line to ground fault. So these are the three diagrams for line to line, and double line to ground. So RYB are the three phases. Okay. So any one line and ground, then the fault occurring between any one line and ground is called as line to ground. And the fault occurring between two lines, the line to line, it can be RY, YB or RB. Then it is line to line fault. Then double line to ground fault, that is between two lines and a ground. Then it is double line to ground fault. Solution of unsymmetrical fault problems can be obtained by either Kirchhoff's laws or symmetrical components method. The latter method is preferred because of the following reasons. So we are preferring symmetrical components method instead of Kirchhoff's laws. Although Kirchhoff's laws method is also used, but it is rarely used. Symmetrical components method is preferred because of the following reasons. First one, it is a simple method and gives more generality to be given to fault performance studies. Second one, it will provide a useful tool for the protection engineers, particularly in connection with tracing out of fault currents. This is an electronic earth fault indicator diagram. Symmetrical components. Let us now see in detail what exactly is the symmetrical components method. In 1918, Dr. C.L. Fortescue, an American scientist, showed that any unbalanced system of three-phase currents or voltages may be regarded as being composed of three separate sets of balanced vectors. So this has come to be known as a symmetrical component theory. This is a general theory and it is applicable to any three vector system whose resultant is zero. So in 1918, Dr. C.L. Fortescue, an American scientist, showed that Any unbalanced system of three-phase currents or voltages may be regarded as being composed of three separate sets of balanced vectors, namely first one, a balanced system of three-phase currents having positive or normal phase sequence. So when I tell balanced system here, this implies that three currents are equal in magnitude and having 120 degrees displacement from each other. So first one is a balanced system of three-phase currents having positive phase sequence means that phase sequence is the same as that of the original three-phase system. Okay. So balanced system of three-phase currents having positive or normal phase sequence, and these are called as positive phase sequence components. Second one, a balanced system of three-phase currents having the opposite or negative phase sequence. These are called as negative phase sequence components. Third one, a system of three currents equal in magnitude and having zero phase displacement. These are called as zero phase sequence components. So positive phase sequence components, negative phase sequence components and zero phase components. Three are there here. So according to symmetrical components method, any unbalanced system of three-phase currents may be regarded as being composed of three separate sets of balanced vectors, namely positive phase sequence components, negative phase sequence components and zero phase sequence components. Balanced system of three-phase currents having positive or normal phase sequence, then it is positive phase sequence components. Balanced system of three-phase currents having opposite or negative phase sequence, then they are called as negative phase sequence components. A system of three currents equal in magnitude and having zero phase displacement, then these are called as zero phase sequence components. The positive, negative and zero phase sequence components are called as symmetrical components of the original unbalanced system. Okay. So the positive, negative and zero phase sequence components are called as symmetrical components of the original unbalanced system. The term symmetrical is appropriate because the unbalanced three-phase system has been resolved into three sets of balanced or symmetrical components. Subscripts 1, 2 and 0 are generally used to indicate positive, negative and zero phase sequence components respectively. For instance, IR0 indicates the zero phase sequence components of the current in the red phase, and similarly IY1 implies the positive phase sequence component of current in the yellow phase. Let us now see the illustration. So let us apply the symmetrical components theory to an unbalanced three-phase system. Suppose an unsymmetrical fault occurs on a three-phase system having phase sequence RYB. According to symmetrical components theory, resulting unbalanced currents, that is IR, IY and IB, can be resolved into a balanced system of three-phase currents, a balanced system of three-phase currents having positive and negative phase sequence and having zero phase displacement. Okay. See students, this is the three assumed positive directions of IR, IY and IB here. So what we are assuming here, we are illustrating our this positive and negative and zero phase sequence components using this symmetrical components theory. So now we are applying the symmetrical components theory to an unbalanced three-phase system. Suppose an suppose an unsymmetrical fault occurs on a three-phase system having phase sequence RYB. So according to symmetrical components theory, resulting unbalanced currents IR, IY and IB can be resolved into a balanced system of three-phase currents IR1, IY1 and IB1 having positive phase sequence, that is RYB, as shown in figure 1. So this figure 1 is representing the positive phase sequence RYB and having the phase displacement between each current as 120 degrees. So these are positive phase sequence components. Second one will be a balanced system of three-phase currents IR2, IY2 and IB2 having negative phase sequence, that is RBY. So here we can see the direction as RBY. Okay. Earlier in first one we have seen RYB. In the second system we are taking this as RBY. System of three currents. Balanced system of three-phase currents, that is IR2, IY2 and IB2 having negative phase sequence, that is RBY, is shown in second figure, and these are the negative phase sequence components. Third one is a system of three currents IR0, IY0 and IB0 equal in magnitude with zero phase displacement from each other, as shown in third figure. This one IR0, IY0, IB0. These are the zero phase sequence components. The current in any phase is equal to the vector sum of positive, negative and zero phase sequence currents in that phase as shown in the below figure. So here current in any phase, we are telling that in the current in any phase is equal to the vector sum of positive, negative and zero phase sequence. Okay. So now if you take the phase R, then IR will be equal to IR1 plus IR2 plus IR0. Current in Y phase will be equal to IY equal to IY1 plus IY2 plus IY0. Current in B phase, IB equal to IB1 plus IB2 plus IB0. So we are considering here star connected system. Current in any phase is equal to vector sum of positive, negative and zero phase sequence currents in that phase. That is for particular phase Y, R, Y and B. We have seen that IR is equal to IR1 plus IR2 plus IR0. IY is equal to IY plus IY equal to IY1 plus IY2 plus IY0. IB equal to IB1 plus IB2 plus IB0. And these are the total currents values. IR equal to IR1 plus IR2 plus IR0. These are the vector additions. We have vector values of IR, IY and IB. We have written the equation. Same thing. Following points may be noted here. First one, positive phase sequence currents, that is IR1, IY1 and IB1, and negative phase sequence currents, that is IR2, IY2, IB2, and zero phase sequence currents, that is IR0, IY0 and IB0 separately form balanced system of currents. Hence, they are called as symmetrical components of unbalanced system. So, what we are telling here? Positive phase sequence currents, negative phase sequence currents and zero phase sequence currents separately form balanced system of currents, and they are called as symmetrical components of the unbalanced system. Next point. The symmetrical component theory applies equally to three-phase currents and voltages, both phase and line values. Third one, the symmetrical components do not have separate existence. They are only mathematical components of unbalanced currents or voltages which will actually flow in the system. In a balanced three-phase system, negative and zero phase sequence currents are zero, and this is demonstrated in example. We will see it in the next classes. Now let us see the operator A. As the symmetrical component theory involves the concept of 120 degrees displacement in the positive sequence set and negative sequence set, therefore it is desirable to evolve some operator which should cause 120 degrees rotation. So for this purpose, operator A, so in place of A, sometimes symbol H or a lambda can also be used. So it is defined as under operator A is one which when multiplied to a vector rotates the vector through 120 degrees in anti-clockwise direction. Consider a vector I represented by OA as shown in the figure. Let us consider a vector I represented by OA as shown in the figure. If this vector is multiplied by operator A, vector is rotated through 120 degrees in the anti-clockwise direction and assumes the position as OB. So what we are telling here is that just as operator J rotates a vector through 90 degrees and in anti-clockwise direction, operator A is one which when multiplied to a vector rotates the vector through 120 degrees in the anti-clockwise direction. So let us consider a vector I represented by OA as shown in the figure. If this vector is multiplied by operator A, vector is rotated through 120 degrees in the anti-clockwise direction and assumes the position OB. So AI is equal to I angle 120 degrees, or it is equal to I into cos 120 plus J sin 120. That will be equal to I into minus 0.5 plus J 0.8666. Therefore, A equal to minus 0.5 plus J 0.866. If the vector assuming position OB is multiplied by operator A, vector is further rotated through 120 degrees in the anti-clockwise direction and assumes the position as OC. Then at that time, a square into I is equal to I angle 240 degrees. That is I into cos 240 plus j sin 240. Cos 240 value is minus 0.5. Sin 240 value is minus 0.866. So a square will be equal to I will get cancelled. So a square equal to minus 0.5 minus j 0.866. The operator a square will turn the vector through 240 degrees in the anti-clockwise direction. So this is the same as turning the vector through 120 degrees in clockwise direction. Therefore, a square I is equal to I angle minus 120 degrees and similarly a cube I equal to I angle 360 degrees. That is I into cos 360 plus j sin 360. That is a cube is equal to I. Let us see the properties of operator A. So when we add the expressions 1 and 2, expression 1 was a equal to minus 0.5 plus j 0.866. Expression 2 was a square equal to minus 0.5 minus j 0.866. So when we add these two, that is a plus a square will be equal to minus 0.5 plus j 0.866 plus minus 0.5 minus j 0.866. That is, if you cancel this, we will get a plus a square as minus 1 or 1 plus a square as 0. And this is addition of 1 and 2. Now we will do the subtracting of 2 and 2 from 1. Then a minus a square equal to minus 0.5 plus j 0.866 minus 0.5 minus j 0.866. So when we do the subtraction, we will get the value as j 1.732. That is a minus a square is j root 3. So this is the properties of operator A. So students, next class I will be telling about symmetrical components in terms of phase currents. So under that we will see all the three sequence currents, that is 0, positive and negative sequence currents. We will derive the equations for currents for both positive, negative and 0. Then some facts about sequence currents we will see. Numericals we will see based on this topic. Very interesting numericals. Very easy also and very important for exam point of view. Then we will see sequence impedances of power system elements. So under that we will see three main pieces of equipment will be considered: synchronous generators, transformers and transmission lines. Analysis of asymmetrical faults, that is single line to ground fault, line to line fault, double line to ground fault. So all these derivations and numericals we will see in the later classes. Very important. Thank you everyone for watching the video. So I hope today's class is clear to everyone. So all the students should watch the video from start till the end. Subscribe the YouTube channels of all the faculty members who are taking the subjects for you. So in the comment section, please mention your hall ticket number. Thank you everyone for watching the video. All of you should make a note of whatever we are telling in the classes in the YouTube channels. Make a running notes of all the subjects, students, so that this will be helpful for you while preparing for the final exams. Thank you everyone for watching the video.